Hello YouTube, how's it going? Today I am reviewing the Impaler as part of the Arena Wars DLC for GTA Online. This car you can purchase for a regular price of $331,835 or $249,500 for a trade price if you complete enough arena events. In order to upgrade it to an arena variant, you have to pay $1,149,000. I personally recommend getting the future variant as it has better bullet protection. I'll cover that a little later. This vehicle has spikes similar to the ZR380 and has a front scoop. It does not have a Mega Blade option like on the ZR380. The gun has the option of having 40-watt laser guns or 50 cal machine guns. The laser guns are more expensive, but they're the exact same thing as the 50 cal machine guns. Just get them. Additionally, this car, like all the other arena vehicles, it can carry mines, and it also has the ability to jump and boost like other vehicles. Unfortunately, this vehicle, like all the other ones, it can't be used in heists either. The first thing that I wanted to test in this review, like in all my other reviews, was speed. I wanted to see how fast is this vehicle in comparison to others. I decided to test it against the ZR380 and the Imperator. And as you guys can see right here, I had a good head start, but the ZR380 passes me relatively quickly. It's the fastest arena vehicle, appears to be the fastest one, so the Impaler doesn't really stand much of a chance. And as for the Imperator, the one right behind me here, eventually he does catch up to me. And I decided to do a second test just to test this thoroughly. And in this clip right here, I'm speeding this up to save time. But as you guys can see, the Imperator, eventually it will pass the Impaler. It can get a little confusing because both cars have very similar names. You know, this car I'm driving is the Impaler. The one behind me is the Imperator. But the Imperator, it is faster. Eventually, it will catch up to the Impaler and pass it no problem. Right here, it passes me. Yeah, so that vehicle is faster. You know, this vehicle, the Impaler, it's still pretty fast, but a lot of other vehicles in the same category are going to be much faster. As for weapons, the front scoop on this thing, it's pretty good. I had no problem pushing smaller vehicles out of the way. Just don't hit larger vehicles, because if you hit larger vehicles, this thing will get stuck or it could spin out of control. Sometimes if you hit a smaller vehicle, you can also spin out of control. So just watch what angle you're hitting vehicles at. But if you want to clear traffic with this thing, you should have no problem doing so. Now, the main guns on this thing, they're not terrible, but they're not great either. The main problem with these guns is that they aren't centered. In my opinion, the ZR380 has superior guns to this vehicle, because on this vehicle, the guns, they're spaced out. On the ZR380, they're centered. The reason that it's bad when they're spaced out is because it's unpredictable where the shot is going to go. It's going to go to the far left and then to the far right. It's pretty hard to hit your target. As you guys can see right here, I'm struggling to hit this headhunter vehicle, and eventually they shoot me out right here and kill me. In the ZR380, it's much easier because the target is centered, you have a good idea of where the shots are going, and if you try to use this in a mission, it's going to be so hard killing NPCs with this, so hard hitting them, because the shots are just so spaced out. It's much better when the guns are centered. Additionally, both guns are the exact same thing like I was saying earlier. They're charging you more for the plasma turrets, but we're just going to call them lasers because that's pretty much exactly what they are. We have lasers on the left, machine guns on the right. They're the exact same thing. It took me 12 seconds both times to destroy the Duke of Death. There's no difference between them. It's just cosmetic looks. I personally recommend just get the machine gun. Don't even bother with the plasma turrets. You're being charged more for it. And one thing that I really don't like about this vehicle is the fact that you have to pay to switch the weapons each time you do so. And you know, this is a problem in so many vehicles. It's happened in so many vehicles in the past. They really need to change this. Let's say that you have 50 cal machine guns on your vehicle and you want to change it to a plasma turret. Even though you already own the 50 cal machine guns, you go in the workshop, you buy the plasma turrets, you go back outside, you have some fun with the plasma turrets, and then you say to yourself, I want to go back to the 50 cal machine gun. Well, guess what? You take it back in the arena workshop and you got to pay for it again. This makes no sense, and it's basically a ripoff at this point. How does this make any sense? What happens to the machine guns when you purchase it and switch it? Is it just thrown in the garbage and then you got to purchase it again? Doesn't really make much sense. And what's outrageous about this vehicle is you have to pay $47,000 to have no weapon. Just look at this. $47,000 to have no weapon. How does that make any sense? Not only are they going to charge you to switch the weapon each time, but they're also going to charge you $47,000 just to have no weapon. How does that make any sense? You have nothing on the vehicle and they're charging you 47 grand for that? Doesn't make much sense. Another thing I wanted to mention about this vehicle is be careful at the angle you enter the vehicle at, because if you run towards this vehicle and you touch the spikes, you could potentially lose most of your health or even kill yourself. So just be careful how you enter the vehicle. And you know, one of my friends, I tried to pick him up and he was running towards my car and he actually died, and it said I killed him just by touching the spikes. So just be careful when you run around the spikes in this vehicle. And here we have a comparison of the future variant and the apocalyptic variant. This is why I recommend the future variant. Take a look at the front windows on the future variant, compare it to the apocalyptic variant. As you guys can see, in the apocalyptic variant, you are very exposed. It's very easy to get shut out the front in the apocalyptic variant. You can still get shut out in the front in the future variant, but it's a lot harder because the windows are smaller. One good thing about the apocalyptic variant is that it's pretty much impossible to get shut out the back. In the future variant, you can get shut out the back, but I just recommend the futuristic variant because I would rather have protection in the front than in the back. I don't want to get shot at the front. I like maximum protection in the front. So just recommend the future variant. Don't get the apocalyptic variant unless you really want that back cover, but you're very exposed. I mean, just look at this window. I can easily shoot out my friend, no problem. And here we have the bullet penetration on the futuristic variant. Doesn't matter what angle you shoot it from, you can still be hit, but the front provides you some protection at least. At least the window is pretty small, and you can't really get shot out of that by players. So it'll be pretty hard for them to do so. AI can still shoot you out. I mean, they have auto aim, but players, most of them are going to have a hard time shooting you out that front window, so I just recommend the future variant. And in terms of a damage resistance, the Impaler takes 2 RPGs. Pretty good, though, for a vehicle in this category. I mean, it's the same as the ZR380. Now, a lot of you guys are probably wondering, how does this vehicle handle in the arena? It actually handles pretty well. It's not as good as the ZR380, but it handles decent. You know, I've rammed people with this, done a pretty good amount of damage to them, and even though the gun's not as good as the ZR380 because it's spaced out, you will have no problem hitting a lot of the larger vehicles with the gun. I've done a lot of damage. I'm chasing this guy right here. I've killed a lot of people with this vehicle, so you should have no problem using this vehicle in the arena. It also has pretty good armor. The only mode I don't recommend using this vehicle, and I strongly don't recommend using it in, is Wreck It. That's the racing mode where you're racing around in circles and then people can die in the race. Don't use it in that mode because people will just spam mines and you'll get run over, and this vehicle is not as fast as other vehicles like the ZR380. If people are using the ZR380, they're going to beat you if you play Wreck It because their vehicles are just faster by default, so they're going to beat you. So don't use this vehicle in the race. If you get the race, use the ZR380, but in most of the adversary modes in the arena, this is pretty good. It'll get the job done, so I don't think people are going to be disappointed by that. And here we come to the pros and the cons. And the pros are, it has decent speed. It's not as good as the ZR380. You notice I put decent speed and I didn't put very fast. It's decently fast, has a boost. You'll have no problem getting from point A to point B. But in comparison to other vehicles in the arena, it will lose in speed. And it has a good front scoop. I had no problem ramming vehicles out of the way. Just stay away from larger vehicles. You can use drive-by weapons in this vehicle. So similar to the other arena vehicles, they don't force you to just use the machine guns. If you want, you can use drive-by weapons for better accuracy. It has pretty good armor, 2 RPGs for a vehicle in this type of category. Many other weaponized vehicles they released in the past year get blown up in 1 RPG, so it's good that this takes at least 1. It's pretty good in the arena. Not as good as another vehicle like the ZR380. I think that vehicle is much better than this one, but it's still pretty decent in the arena. You can definitely use this. You can get kills with this. You can win with this. Just don't take it in the Wreck It mode because you will lose. When people use the motorcycles and they use the ZR380s, they will beat you no problem with those vehicles. And the cons are, just like in all the other arena vehicles, it's very expensive. You can purchase this vehicle without the arena variant, so I guess that's that. But you still gotta pay like $1,140,000 just to upgrade it to that arena variant. Most of the stuff, including the boost and the spikes and a lot of the other items that they give you, the weapons, they can be pricey. So you are going to be spending a few $1,000,000 at least on this car. There's no bulletproof windows, but the good thing is the future variant, it does give you some good protection there. It's this small little window, so it's pretty hard for the enemies to shoot you out, but still, you still can get shot out for that window. You can't be using heists like all the other arena vehicles. The spikes can kill you. If you run around the wrong side of the car, you touch the spikes too quickly, you can die. You can also kill your friends if they try to get into the vehicle with you. The guns are not centered on this thing. They're not centered, so it's going to be a little difficult to aim, going to be a little difficult to precisely calculate where your shots are going to go. The guns are no different. I don't know why they're giving you an option for a plasma turret and they're charging you more for it if it's going to be the exact same thing. If it's just the exact same thing, they should just charge the same for it. And you have to pay to switch guns. This really needs to change. This has been in the game for years. It's been in the game for years like this, that you have to pay to change guns. Why is this still a thing? This has got to change. If you pay for one gun, you pay for the 50 cal, and then you want to go back, you want to buy the plasma then, and you want to switch back and forth, you pay for both of them. You shouldn't have to constantly pay to switch each one. It should be free. It's like, what happens to it? It's thrown in the garbage. So I guess that's my review there. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like. If you're new to my channel and enjoy my content, subscribe. Let me know, what do you guys think of this vehicle? I like the looks of it personally. I think the vehicle looks cool. It's my favorite vehicle in terms of looks, but if you compare it in stats to other vehicles like the ZR380, I think that vehicle is much superior to this vehicle, especially in the arena. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.